Okay, welcome to the Imaginative Typography tutorial. So today we're going to go over a number of different things regarding text and different things that you can do to manipulate your text and make it more illustrative, essentially. So there is a file that you have to download called Imaginative Type. So go ahead and download that. You can open that in Illustrator. You're going to see that I have an artboard in there and I have a few assets as well. So I have a list of the things we're going to go over today. I have some text in here with some visual effects applied and some funny faces that we are going to use a little bit later on. So yeah, that is what you need to have open. So the very first thing on the list is we are going to go to Adobe Fonts. And I have that linked in Canvas. In Adobe Fonts, you are going to want to make sure that you are signed in to your Adobe Creative Cloud subscription so that you can apply these fonts to your account. And so Adobe Fonts in the beginning, there wasn't really a lot going on in Adobe Fonts. And I would say that was fairly recently, like within the last 2 years. And there wasn't really much to talk about in Adobe Fonts, but I have heard numerous visual communicators and designers and content creators say that the amount of fonts that Adobe offers now is worth the subscription fee alone. There is just so much cool stuff going on in Adobe Fonts. So we're going to go through and I'm going to show you a couple of things you can do to navigate this site, and then I'm going to show you how to add these fonts to your Adobe account so that you can use them in your apps. So when you go to the homepage, you're going to see what we have trending. Usually they're posting new fonts up here that have just recently been added. Ooh, I'm really liking this manic type right here. But the other ways that you can look is you can do browse all, which a lot of people really like to do. There is a really nice filtering system here that you can give different characteristics and see what different fonts are going to look like. So I was working on a coffee brand called Wakey Beans before, but I'm going to type in the word bunny for today because I am going to be creating that a little bit later on. So what you can do is type in the word, and you can see it in a list or a grid, but it'll go through and show you what the word you're going to be using the most, or maybe the brand or whatever. And then you can come through here and say, give the characteristics that you would like to have for your font. Sometimes it doesn't, it's too restrictive, so it gets a little bit upset. But so then when you find a font that you like, so Modern Love right here, I'm going to go ahead and add that family. And it's going to say the fonts have been added to my Adobe apps. And I'm going to say, okay, great. One thing that I might suggest to you all is if you have a lot of fonts in your Adobe apps, you want to write down the ones that you just downloaded that you want to use in your project, because I forget, I'll go get a new font, I'll be really excited about it, I'll completely forget the name of it, and then I have to really do some research. I should probably clear my fonts out of what I have added, but I don't do that. The other cool thing you can go to, whoops, I didn't mean to click on that, is the font packs. So you can look at families of similar fonts. So you can see here, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. And when you click into these, so retroactive, I'm pretty sure I have this one downloaded. We're going to go into that. And You can see all the different choices here. They're similar in terms of visual style and genre, and you can actually add the entire pack. So I already have it added, so I only have the option to remove it. But I think I'm going to I'm going to go back to home and I'm going to grab that really fun one that was the suds. So I'm going to go ahead and click into this and take a look at what we've got going on in here. All right, cool. This looks pretty fun. And I'm just going to add the family. Okay, cool. So that's Adobe Fonts. So I want you to pick a few fonts to use today, some fun ones, because we are focusing more on illustrative type. These are going to be more like one word sort of illustration or headline type of fonts, so they can be pretty decorative, right? You're not going to want to pick out something crazy and fun for a paragraph. These are just for illustrative type purposes. So go crazy. Find something really decorative and fun to use today. Okay, so we're going to pop back over into Illustrator. And let me just get this full screen here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create outlines for some text, and we're going to manipulate the text through just moving the anchor points around and things like that. So what I want you to do is go ahead and grab your text tool. And I didn't mean to select that. I need to make a new text area. And I am going to just type in, I'm going to do something in all caps for this. So as with all the tutorials I do, I want you all to follow along and create what I create, but in your own way. So please feel free to, obviously, first of all, use different words. You can use your name, you could use your dog's name, you could use text from a poster in your room, like whatever you want. My words are quite silly a lot of the times in these, so you don't have to use the types of words that I'm using, but anyway, so feel free. You're gonna do this in your own way. When you turn in your file at the end of the tutorial, it should look similar to what I've done in this tutorial, but it shouldn't look exactly the same, because that wouldn't be any fun. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and select all this text, and let's go ahead and pick a font for it. So I'm going to pull up my properties table here, and just so you know, actually, let me reset my workspace. I don't even know where I'm at anymore in terms of. I'm going to reset Essentials Classic because my I move stuff around a lot. Okay, so here's my properties panel, and we're going to go ahead and make this quite a bit bigger. And then I want you to pick something that's a thicker font that's very boxy. So we're going to actually filter for a sans serif, and just something that will be fun to manipulate. And it can be something very simple. So I'm just going to choose Anton Regular for mine. And I'm going to come over here and move this box over because that's going to drive me nuts being on the artboard like that. So we have Happy Fun. And what I want to do is I want to take this text and I want to manipulate it and do some some fun things with it. So what we need to do is we need to turn it into not text, but shapes here in Illustrator. So there is, the way to do that is to go to Type, and you're going to go to Create Outlines. This is also Shift-Command-O for quick keys, and I use this constantly. These are hotkeys that I'm using all the time. So Shift-Command-O or Control key if you're on a PC. So here we go, and you're going to see that this is now These are now shapes. If you go over to your layers panel, which is this double sort of, two squares sitting on top of each other. If you go to your layers panel, you're going to see that this text is now grouped together, and we have happy fun as all individual shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and ungroup these because they're going to be easier to work with and manipulate if I have them ungrouped for now. So some of the things that you can do, if we use the direct selection tool right here, we can go in and start manipulating our our letters in the most simplest way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to, if we go in and have the direct selection tool and we just click on it, it's going to highlight every edge or a corner, I guess. And it's going to give us the ability to curve all of those in at the same time. So that's one simple thing that you can do. That is a kind of a typical manipulation, but what you can also do, and what I like to do a lot, is I just select like maybe these 4 anchors. So all I'm doing is I clicked on the first one and then I'm just shift selecting the rest of them. And then you can just manipulate certain parts of a particular letter. And so you can go through and play around with your letters and make them more illustrative, more expressive. Now, this isn't something you're going to want to do where you're like creating a new font, but this is something you could definitely do for a logo or type that maybe is going to be animated, later on down the road or whatever. Or if it's just illustrative typography for a particular composition that you're doing. So I'm going to so all I did here is I shift selected both of these anchors and I just hit my arrow key up to move the top of the A up to make it a little bit more manipulated and a little bit different than the other letters. And then I'm also just going to grab my corner adjustments here and pull that in. So for this one, I'm going to drag the P down. And this one, maybe I'll just hit the arrow key over and down and then do something kind of like that. And I think I'll also curve these in. So what I want you to do is just with these basic manipulations, play around with having fun with the letters, distorting them, manipulating them, and kind of learning how to deconstruct their original shapes so that they become more illustrative. We'll go ahead and have that go way up. You can also marquee select anchors. So let's say I just want these bottom 2. I can click shift select them, or I can just marquee select them as well. Okay, so I'm not going to go through and do the word fun as well, but you can see that this allows for you to really play around with these. And then another thing you can do as you're kind of moving along is you can obviously change the location, the position, the rotation of these, and really manipulate this text to have a lot more character and be a lot more expressive to do what it is that you need it to do for whatever your project is. Okay, so let's say I am done with this. I'm gonna go ahead and just select everything here, and I'm gonna pick a new color other than black just to make it a little bit more fun. Maybe like this dark blue. And with all of these selected, I'm gonna hit my Command or Control key and G to group these together. So, oh, that did not work. Let's see. There we go. Now it's all grouped together on my project here, and it's, all packaged together nicely. So that is how you can just do some basic manipulation to your text and get it on its path to be more illustrative, which is what we are focusing on for this tutorial. Okay, in the next section, we're going to look at some other distortion sort of effects that you can use that are really, really cool. So I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.